Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Today I'm going to be ranking all of the makeup I tried in the month of November. So before we get into it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's get into it. So coming in at number 12 is from Haus Labs. So this is their Eye Library eyeshadow palette, and this is the Super Neutrals Volume 1. I think the outer packaging of this is pretty. It's very heavy. It looks really nice. Inside, the color story also looks very pretty. This definitely looks like something I'm really going to enjoy. I don't like it. So we have these three mattes here, which are actually more of a cream formula, which I do really like. But they're really not that buildable, and even if you can get a lot of pigment, they will blend away. So right away I found that a little frustrating. I'm all for buildable shadows, but when I can't even build properly, I find that frustrating. These shimmers here are very pretty. They are very sparkly, very dimensional, and I think they are the best part of this palette. Unfortunately, this is also really expensive for what it is. So I think this retails for $66 Canadian. Absolutely not worth it in my opinion, given that only half of it's good. You get 6 shades, only half of it's good. I don't even know if this is worth it on sale. I cannot recommend this, unfortunately. I am really sad because I had really high hopes for these shadows. I think that maybe there's an audience for them, somebody who likes much softer makeup or who just likes one really good shimmer all over the lid, because these shimmers are beautiful, and that is the one, I think, saving grace of this palette. Otherwise, I just don't think the quality is very good at all. Coming in at number 11 is another product I really wanted to love, but that really disappointed me. This is from Makeup by Mario, and this is the Soft Pop Plumping Blush Veil. So this one is fine. I do have this in the shade Barely Blushing. I like the cream bronzers that he has in this formula. I have used this blush a couple of times, and initially when I was first testing this out, I was forgetting to test for longevity, but I really liked the color. I really liked that it is buildable. I liked, like, the shade in general is beautiful. It's very flattering, especially on my skin tone. I really, really liked it. This can be built up to be very pigmented. You can also just go very, very light with it, and I love that. It is definitely a bit more of a balmy formula. When I finally started paying attention for longevity, I was not impressed with this at all. I found when I did my Sephora haul try on, I put this on, and by the end of the video, I already noticed that my blush was disappearing. So I found that very, very frustrating. I think this is going to be good for somebody who really likes that no makeup look, or maybe if you like to put a cream blush under your regular blush, I think that would be good for this as well. I just don't think this is good if you really like your blush to last all day and you like a nice pigmented blush. I don't think you'll like this. For me, it just lost points for longevity. Coming in at number 10 is from Merit, and this is the Bronze Balm in the shade Quince. So honestly, I do really like this. I think the packaging is gorgeous, and Merit is one of those brands that is definitely more of that no makeup aesthetic. I do really enjoy their products, and this is probably one of my very favorites from the brand. I think this is really nice. It's definitely a little bit more on the sheer side, but you can build it up. It blends out super easily. It looks really nice on the skin. The tone is really nice on this. It is a little bit more sheer than some cream bronzers that I do prefer. But otherwise, I have nothing bad to say about this. I think this is a really, really nice bronzer stick. It's just that there are 9 products that I enjoyed even more. So coming in at number 9 is from Natasha Denona. I did try out her My Dream lip gloss. So I do love this, and the shade is beautiful. I really, really do love this. The applicator is just a small generic doe foot, really, really pretty. I do think this is such a great lip gloss. I do find that it is not very long wearing, but it does give a really pretty juicy shine to the lips. Color is really beautiful as well. It's just, it's not the most long wearing. So that is why this one is ranking a little bit lower. I do really like it. I really like the formula. It's not at all sticky. It's just really not very long wearing compared to some other formulas I have. So for that reason, this one's ranking a little bit lower, but the shade is 10 out of 10, and I really love the shine that it gives to the lips. Coming in at number 8 is from Anastasia, and this is their Mini Modern Renaissance. So they came out with a Mini Modern Renaissance and a Mini Sultry. I did not pick up the Mini Sultry because I do have the full size. I'm not somebody who ever actually owned the full size Modern Renaissance. So I thought this would be perfect. The only thing I don't super love about this is that you only get one shimmer. However, I do think the original Modern Renaissance is pretty light on shimmers as well. So that does make sense, but I do wish there was maybe another shimmer in this palette. I do think the formula is slightly different than what is in their cardboard packaging. It's a little bit more hard pressed. I don't mind that. I quite liked that there wasn't nearly as much kick up. The formula still performed really, really well. It still blended out beautifully. I was still able to create a really nice look. I was really happy with it. And I really don't have anything bad to say about it. I think it's nice. I just wish there was maybe one more shimmer. Otherwise, I think this is a really great palette. I like the formula, and I'm really glad I finally have this one. Okay, coming in at number 7 is from Haus Labs, and this is their new concealer. I think it's the Triclone Skin Tech Concealer. This I loved. This I do think is really nice. This one has been ranking a little bit higher for me than the Makeup by Mario. This does have a thicker doe foot. It looks really nice. I do have the shade 3 Rosy. I like that the packaging on this matches the foundation. I like the coverage you get with this. I like that it's more hydrating. I do think that the coverage on this one is pretty customizable. If you put it on and blend it out right away, you do get less coverage. If you let it sit for a minute, which is standard for a lot of concealers, but if you do let this one sit for just a minute and then blend it out, you'll get really great coverage. If you blend it out right away, you'll get a lighter coverage, so really all in your preference. It does dry down, but it doesn't dry down so quickly that you don't have a chance to blend it out. So I think that's important. I don't think this is beating my Natasha Denona. This is one that can look dry if you do have dry under eyes. The Natasha Denona for me just works no matter what's going on, so I do still like that one better. This one is still excellent. I love the coverage. I love the blendability. I love that it's a little bit customizable. I think it's a fantastic concealer. Coming in at number 6 is from Rare Beauty, and this is the All of the Above Weightless Eyeshadow Stick in the shade Well-Being. So this is actually the one I'm wearing today, and I don't think I've played with this on camera, but I've really been enjoying this. So I do like this. I just think it's a really beautiful baby pink. I think it's so pretty, so simple. I just have this all over the lid, and then a matte pinky shade on the outer corner just to blend things out and pull things together. I do think this is a nice formula. I still personally need a primer underneath because these will crease for me, but I still think the shade's pretty. It's blendable. It looks really pretty. It's very lightweight. It doesn't feel tacky. It does dry down on the lids, but you have plenty of time to blend out. I think this is fantastic. I initially wasn't going to grab this because I'm not huge on eyeshadow sticks, but I was really impressed by this. Very impressed. And this makes me want to try out more eyeshadow stick formulas. Again, I love creating a complicated look with an eyeshadow palette. I think I will always love that. But I did love how simple this was to work with and how easily it blended out, how nice it looks on the lids, and as long as I use a primer, it doesn't crease, and it really does stick around all day. So I really did appreciate that. I think these are great. I think if you've been wondering whether these are worth it, I think they are. Coming in at number 5 is a primer that has been incredibly popular online this year, and this is from Cali Ray. This is the So Blown Clean Blurring Primer. I think this is super nice. This is just a squeeze tube, and it's got kind of like that, I haven't really swatched anything today, but it's got kind of like this white silicone kind of feel to it. It reminds me a little bit of the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer in that sense, but it does feel so nice on the skin. It really just melts right in there and creates such a nice smooth canvas for the makeup. I would say this also reminds me of the Dior Backstage Primer in addition to the Smashbox. I think it's great. It really does create a really smooth canvas for the makeup. It doesn't really do anything in the way of pore fill. It does just smell very fresh. It's not all overpowering or overwhelming. It just smells super fresh, and I really do love the scent. And coming in at number 4 is actually the counterpart, because I picked up a duo, And so this is the Cali Ray Surf Proof Setting Spray. This is really nice. So I do think this is a mini. This also smells nice, but this smells more like coconut. And this actually does a really nice job as well of locking in the makeup, but also adding like a hydrating, refreshing type mist. It's a lot like the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless. I think that one is a little bit more intense when it comes to longevity. This still gives you the longevity, but smells a little bit more fresh, like coconut, and it, I think, is a little bit more hydrating. So I've really been enjoying this a ton. I think this is great. I'm still trying to decide if I like it as much as my Charlotte Tilbury or maybe not quite as much. I'm still trying to work that out, but overall I have been very pleasantly impressed with this one. Coming in at number 3 is a lip liner formula I fell in love with. So this is from Tower 28, and this is their one liner multi-liner in the shade Fill Me In. So Sephora only had 3 shades of this. I am wearing this today as my liner, and I filled in the lips. So this is such a basic pencil liner. There's really nothing special about it. It doesn't even have anything cute on the end. You can just see the wood. But this is such a creamy pencil liner. This is probably one of the most creamy pencil liners I've used, but it really is super long wearing. It just looks so nice. It's so easy to fill in the lips. It looks so soft though, so it gives you such a natural definition. And again, it's just very creamy, so it never tugs the lips, but it really does stick around all day. The shade Fill Me In is like my perfect lip shade. I love this. I've actually been pairing it with the Natasha Denona gloss a lot. I've been wearing them together. That is one of my favorite lip combos right now. Overall, I think this is such a phenomenal liner. It's the one I'm reaching for every single day. I really, really love this. Coming in at number 2 was part of a holiday collection that ended up being very delayed. So this is from Pat McGrath, and this is the Divine Blush, Bronze, and Glow Trio in Forever Nude. So this is so nice. So this is her usual formula. So you get Nude Honey in the bronzer, you get Naked Peony in the blush, and then you get Opal Allure. So I am wearing all 3 of these today. I think Naked Honey is another amazing bronzer shade for me. The other bronzer shade I have is Naked Desire. So I think this is the second lightest, and it's perfect as well. Naked Peony is also just a really pretty pink blush, but it's not super overwhelming. It's just like her other blush formulas. You look at the shade and think it's going to be way too overwhelming, but it ends up just working, which I just love. I'm a really, really big fan of Pat McGrath's blush formula. If you don't know that already, I love her blushes. So I'm not at all disappointed by this. This highlighter is so blinding. So again, I have this on today. So shiny, not for the faint of heart. If you don't like to glow, you will not like this highlight. There is a bit of shimmer in there, so just know that. I love this. This is my absolute perfect face trio. I knew I would love it. I knew I liked the shades from the photos. I know I like Pat McGrath complexion. I knew I would love this, but this is so good. And this is also the only face palette that has finally made me put down my hourglass for a minute. So I think that says something. Coming in at number 1 is probably pretty obvious if you're familiar with my channel. This is from Huda Beauty, and this is the Pretty Grunge palette. This is probably going to be one of my favorite palettes of the year. Not the top spot, but it's going to be up there pretty high. I love this. Looking at this palette, it looks definitely deep. It looks grungy. It looks intimidating if you're not somebody who really goes for those deeper smoky looks, but this is an incredibly wearable palette, especially if you just look at this bottom half. Super wearable. Over here is where it gets a little smoky, but the mattes are so blendable and easy to work with. The shimmers are stunning. You can really go super creative with this palette, or you can go super wearable. It's all in your preference, but it's possible to do it all. And I love that. The only thing I don't like is the eye gloss, because I'm never going to use that. But because the rest of this palette is so amazing, I think it's fine. Again, initially when I ordered this, I thought it was going to be way too grungy for me, but I didn't want to miss out again like I did last year. And honestly, this is so good. I've used this so many times, both on and off camera. I think this one is absolutely fantastic. And it's ranking really high. Even though I've got a shade in here I'm never going to use, it's still incredibly high. I just love it. I love how wearable it is, but I love how you can go super glam. You can get very creative. I love that you have that option. And again, she nailed it with all the different textures in here. This is just one of the very best in my opinion. That is it. That is 12 products I tried in the month of November. I tried a lot more than I thought I did. And honestly, I think this is the first month in a while where I've actually had a couple of fails, but the things that were good were so good that I'm not even bothered by the fails. So I think that says something in itself. So that is it for me today. Let me know down below if you tried any of these. Are you loving them? What was your favorite product that you picked up during the Sephora sale if you shopped? If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload at least 3 new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!